River's Edge is a 1986 crime drama directed by Tim Hunter. This video has major spoilers on the entire film. Fair warning. This film is about a group of burnout stoner teenagers living in California. They spend their time ditching school to smoke weed and drink beer. One of their friends named John comes to school and tells them that he killed one of their other friends named Jamie. They don't believe him, so he takes them to the river and shows them her naked corpse. Everyone is just kind of speechless. Lane, played by the always likable Crispin Glover, decides that it's his job to make sure that his friend doesn't get caught for this. He moves the body on his own, but Matt, played by Keanu Reeves, calls the cops and they find her. Lane hides out John at their drug dealer Feck's house, played by the brilliant Dennis Hopper. He's this crazy guy with one leg who never leaves his house or his sex doll who he treats as his girlfriend. Like John, he killed a girl once, but unlike John, he loved her. John doesn't care about getting caught. He doesn't care about his friends or even himself. The only thing he seems to care about is his invalid aunt who he lives with. He tells his friends he killed Jamie because she was talking shit about his dead mother, but I think he could be lying about that. I think he just wanted to kill someone. Lane tries to collect money to move John to Portland so he can hide out there, but Lane is a stoned idiot and fails. Feck sees that John is hopeless and he decides to kill him. I first saw this film in 9th grade and I really liked it. I still do. I remember my friend and I would quote Crispin Glover a lot. His performance is what I enjoyed the most of this film the first watch. Crispin Glover is just an incredibly unique actor, and it's great seeing him dive into this role of a smoked out friend trying to cover up a murder. And that cry when Lane makes when he finds John is pretty sad. You feel his fear and sadness as he finds his dead friend. Some people complain about his performance in this film, saying it's too animated, but I think it really strengthens the film. Before I get into the film, I want to talk about some trivia. This is a fictional story, but it was inspired by the actual murder of 14-year-old Marcy Conrad, who was killed by her 16-year-old boyfriend Anthony Boussard in the city of Milpitas, California. But the screenwriter Neil Jimenez said he based all the characters on kids he went to high school with. I've looked into the murder and there's a lot of similarities to this film. In the film, Keanu Reeves has a little brother named Tim, played by Joshua Miller. He plays Homer in one of the greatest vampire movies ever made called Near Dark. I went to a midnight screening of Near Dark at the New Beverly Cinema in Hollywood, and Joshua Miller showed up in person and he talked about the movie. It was really cool. But Joshua Miller wasn't originally casted as Tim. It was Corey Haim, who was one of my favorite actors of all time. They filmed with him for a few days, but he got sick and they had to recast him. I think Joshua Miller did a great job in the role, but I would love to see what Corey Haim would have done with it. Joshua Miller also played Tom Atkins' son in Halloween Part 3, Season of the Witch. There's 2 other actors in this film that are in the Halloween franchise. Leo Rossi, who plays the boyfriend of Keanu Reeves and Tim's mother, plays Bud in Halloween Part 2. And Daniel Roebuck, who plays John, is in Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 as the owner of the strip club. I really like the Halloween franchise and I just think that's interesting. But back to the story, I think this is the first film that really showed teenagers dealing with murder and committing it. Years later, we got films like Larry Clark's Bully, Alpha Dog, Mean Creek, Tim Blake Nelson's O, and all of these deal with the same subject matter that this film does. It's about aimless, desensitized teenagers who get mixed into a murder case because of their poor choices and friends. Most of these characters aren't very likable. The Tim character is pretty horrible, and it seems like he could grow up into another John, someone who he already admires, but he has a chance to kill his brother and decides not to, so maybe there is hope for him. Like I said, these characters are desensitized. They barely react when they see their friend who they've known all their lives dead. Clarissa tells Matt she couldn't even cry for Jamie, but she cried when the guy died in Brian's Song, which is an old movie. Being a teenager is a strange time. It's a very selfish time. Most teenagers just care about having fun, and these characters, like a lot of teenagers in real life, only have fun by getting high, hanging out, and having sex. These kids aren't bad people, they're just stoned and self-absorbed. This film isn't graphic. The only nudity is of Jamie's corpse, and all the kills are off-screen. The characters are constantly smoking weed and drinking beer though, which means they're never really in a great state of mind, and it makes sense that they're speechless to seeing a corpse and almost emotionless about it. Like I said, these characters aren't very likable, but the actors are. This is an ensemble cast and they're all pretty great. I think Daniel Roebuck, who plays John, is a very underrated actor. This is the only big character I've ever seen him play, and he's done so many great projects, but he's a character actor, which means he usually only gets small roles, sometimes very small. His performance isn't amazing in this film, but I think he did a really good job. John is a scary character because there are many people out there like this guy, but then you feel sad for him that his mother is dead and just how nice he is with his invalid aunt. Everybody loves Keanu Reeves and Crispin Glover. They're great actors and very likable, but I think the best performance of this film is Dennis Hopper as Feck. Dennis Hopper is an amazing actor who always dives into his roles, but he was also a giant movie star who got amazing roles. He was a pretty talented writer and director too, just a truly talented man, but he had demons. substance, mostly alcohol, but I think Dennis Hopper is so great at playing crazy people because he was kind of crazy. He was an unpredictable performer, almost dangerous. We never knew how far he would go, and that's entertaining as long as it's on screen and not in person. Rest in peace, Dennis Hopper. I hadn't seen this film in a few years, and watching it now, I think it's a black comedy. It's a serious story and deals with serious social issues about teen violence that foreshadow lots of future tragedies involving teenagers, but this film toes the line with its humor. There's a lot of scenes that make me laugh in this film. This film knows when it's starting to get too serious, and when that happens, it makes a joke to kind of ease the tension.
I don't give a damn. Nobody in this classroom gives a damn that she's dead. It gives us a chance to feel superior and to point up a fundamental moral breakdown in society, but it doesn't really affect us, does it? Because if it did, none of us would be in this classroom right now. We'd be out on the street, half crazy from lack of sleep, hunting down Samson Tollett with a gun.
It's a reprehensible attitude.
Just shut up, Kevin.
You gonna be tested on this shit?
I really enjoyed this film. If you know me, you already know I love films that show the consequences of murder and don't take it lightly, especially ones with teenagers. So the story itself got me to rent it. The casting is great and I love the cinematography of this film. It was filmed in Cajunga, California, and the city's like a character in the film. From the river and the bridge above it, and just how the houses and city park looks, it really catches my eye and gives the film a personality. So that's my review on River's Edge. Thanks for watching, keep watching, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and follow me on Instagram, cinemajunkies_. Don't forget the underscore.